Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your Captain Definition. In this episode we're going to be breaking down episode 7 of Picard. Our mission is to boldly go where no one has gone before and give our thoughts on the new entry as well as what could be happening in the future. After Picard and Soji finally came face to face, the series has started to wind down, and with just 3 episodes left there's a hell of a lot to unpack. Throughout this video we'll be discussing the ins and outs of the 7th episode's plot, its Easter eggs and what we thought of it as a whole. We will be engaging with heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to watch the show yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into our breakdown of Picard episode 7. Episode 7 picks up with the titular character and Soji's escape from the Borg Cube. The episode brings back some familiar faces, and it really makes the entry feel like one of the most nostalgic thus far. Like all episodes, we open in the past, and this time it's a flashback to the Daystrom Institute 3 weeks ago. This is the enigmatic meeting between Commodore O and Dr. Agnes. O looks like she's been watching NWA videos from the 90s, but either way these sunglasses must have helped her to become inconspicuous because it appears that she's been stalking Agnes. She details meetings that she's had with Bruce Maddox and also brings a powerful message. Last week we theorised that the reason Agnes killed Maddox is because O had shown her the dark secret that the Jacques Vache know about synthetics. Early on in the season, it was said that learning this secret can break someone's mind, and this is why she decided to murder someone she was in love with. We see that theory come true here, with O showcasing the annihilation that would happen should synthetics be allowed to exist. So in her head, Agnes's mission is of the utmost importance, and O hands her a tracker, using her as a mold to find out what's going on in Picard's mission. In the present, we jump back to Rios and co, who aren't having the best of times. They've been tractor locked to the Borg Cube, and aboard it, Nerissa is questioning Hugh as to exactly what happened. She doesn't mind killing a couple of people to get answers, and the entire ship is in full lockdown, with Narek heading out into space to follow Rios and the group. They're let free from the tractor beam, and Narek does his best Boba Fett impression in tailing them. Nerissa really comes into her own as the villain here, and we do know that she was very close to O at some points, so it could be possible that she has been feeding O the visions that she passed on to Agnes. We did see O herself in the visions, so it is likely that this has been planted there by Nerissa in order for the Romulans to achieve their goals. Elnor is left aboard the ship, and I did have a feeling last week that he would be important here. They just randomly dropped him on the ship right at the end of the episode, and it was obvious that they'd only done that because they needed him to do something in this episode, and yeah, they just had no reason for why he would really be on the ship. I remember them doing this in Man of Steel with Lois, and depending on whether you like the show or not, probably will determine whether you forgive this writing. He has a very forced arc on the ship, I feel, with him discovering a plot device, and yeah, it just feels a bit meh. Anyway, after the intro we jump to Nepenthe, a forest planet where we're greeted by William and Deanna's child Castro. Castro speaks Vivine, a wild language of the woods, and she has actually some deep ties to the lore of Star Trek. Deanna's sister was also called Castro, and she drowned when she was very young. It's a nice little tribute that ties in well with Star Trek lore and shows just how much they're thinking about the past of the show. She's an awesome addition, and I'd love to see her pop up in other shows down the line. We also learn that Castro's brother died, and William and Deanna have been through some stuff. Deanna has had to deal with feeling the loss not only herself, but also the grief that the others feel due to her abilities. There's a really heartbreaking moment in the episode, and this entry, though quite slow paced at points, does indeed tick the boxes in terms of character development. Castro leads them to the pair, but along the way Soji almost has a breakdown after realising her entire reality was a fabrication. JeanLuc calms her down by telling her that her sister Darge was real, but just as she perks up, he tells her that she's dead, which was nice of him. He's sort of a bad man in this episode, I will say that. At Ranch Riker, we get to see a really nice catch-up. Troi uses her extrasensory empathy to pick up on the disease that is slowly killing Picard, but he assures her it's gonna be alright. Riker has made his house formidable, and it's the perfect sanctuary for Picard to hide out and rest. I absolutely love this reunion, and it reminds us that Picard is truly strong because of his allies and ability to make long-lasting relationships with people that would truly risk it all for him. Castro questions Soji, and we learn that she's a complete replication of a human, even down to her mucus. Data is hinted towards being behind everything, which questions the theory of Maddox's involvement. We do know that Data painted a picture of Darge and Soji that showed he did have designs for the girls, but who was involved as of now is still up in the air. Clearly Maddox was connected, and I've seen a ton of different fan theories, so I don't want to dive in and say which one is wrong and which one isn't, so yeah, I won't. Riker does figure out that Soji is connected to Data though, and it is going to be interesting to see just where her origin pulls from exactly. Aboard La Serena, they're trying to outrun Narek, but he's hot on their tails. La Serena roughly translates to the mermaid, and sirens are of course myths that used to lead sailors to their dooms. This could possibly be hinting at the fate of the crew and the quote-unquote sailors aboard it, but I guess we will see as the show develops. Raffi notices that Agnes is slowly falling apart and that she's changed emotionally, but it's not like Raffi didn't spend last week in bed drinking. Anyway, beyond building the story, JeanLuc and Riker catch up and remember the good old days. I always love seeing characters that we once knew as younger people age, and it's great watching people reprise their roles throughout their lives. Deanna gives Soji a real tomato, and she herself comes to the conclusion that real is better as she's only ever had food from a replicator. Soji is of course herself a replication, but that doesn't mean that she isn't real, which I think is what the show is dealing with. We live in a world in which many members of society are viewed as being less than us because of where they come from. I think the show is playing with the subtext of that, showing that no matter what makes us up, we all have the right to be considered real. The Star Trek episode Measure of a Man dealt with this too, in defining what rights we had over others, and it's nice to see this aesthetic reappear here. There's talk of Thad, Deanna's child, being fascinated with homes and how they all connect us, and I think that this is the message being hammered home here. He died because of the synth ban, and I love that Deanna says real isn't always better. It's a nice little counselling session that I appreciated quite a lot. Picard gets a scolding from Deanna, and I actually think she shines the most in this episode. Marina Sirtis gets a lot to play with in terms of dramatic beats, and she's more the intelligent aspect that really cross-examines everything, whilst Riker makes pizzas. Riker also burns a tomato, which I see as sort of a nod to the tomato from earlier, and how real is often weaker. When you go through things, you are hardened and made in a certain way that strengthens you, and yep, replicators aren't always the best, but this new replicator is the best, and if you use the discount code in the description below, you get 10% off your next order. Elnor and Nerissa have a fight aboard the Borg Cube, and she takes out Hugh. It's a big death in the show, and it kinda sucked seeing him getting a very underwhelming exit. I know the scene was supposed to show how good Nerissa was at fighting, but it happened so fast for me that it kind of robbed it of its emotional impact. Raffi and Agnes catch up, and it seems like the latter was trying to throw up her tracker, which, as we learn, is how Narek is following them. She shut down the medical hologram after killing Maddox, and thus he's not there, though he does return later, which, yeah, was a bit confusing for me. Rios suspects Raffi and tells Agnes about this, and she comes clean, but he won't really listen. She does realise that she's been doing bad things and manages to disable the tracker herself using the replicator that sponsored this channel. I'll stop with that now. The toxins in it lead to her having a seizure, and this sends her into a coma. Rios still suspects Raffi, and as she didn't explain this, it could lead to the two going head to head in the next episode. Now last week we did learn where Sochi was from and where the nest of synths could be, but no one really seems to be looking for the planet all that much. After a quick text to Captain Karen, Castro finds out where it is, which I think is where the rest of the season will head off into. Captain Obvious here, but yeah, I don't know why the Romulans aren't making this their top priority. Round the dinner table, Picard convinces Soji to trust him after she felt alone and isolated. He tells her of Daj, his past, Data, and how this mission has made him feel alive. In Hugh's office, Elnor finds the Fenris beacon that was left behind last time, and he reaches out. We know this is connected to 7 of 9, and from the preview next week, she will be back. Picard and Riker have a heart-to-heart, and it feels like a farewell between the two. I don't know if it will be, but Picard thanks him for everything and for not trying to talk him out of what will probably be the character's final frontier. They say goodbye, Castro gives Soji her crappy broken compass, and they head off. Now, the broken compass symbolises that though Soji is lost, it's still possible to find her home, and that she should go to where she feels rather than what others are telling her. That's what I took from it anyway, and it lends itself well to the subtext of the episode. I really hope that this is the last time we see the family, as I am kind of worried that the Romulans will show up and question them, and yeah, I just don't want to see them killed for not giving up Picard. Anyway, next week it looks like we will discover the secret of the Zhat Vash, and we'll be getting a return of 7 of 9. Agnes admits what is going on, and it looks like there's gonna be a big showdown. There's also a hint that 7 of 9 may be reconnected back to the cube, and the emotional stakes are really ramping up. I can see everything coming together next week, and is finally learning why Soji has been predicted as the destroyer. We are still no closer to learning if the Borg Queen theory is correct, but hopefully we get a yes or no next time, as it's killing me. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on Picard, so comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video then please drop a like, and make sure you check out our full playlist on Picard, which will be linked at the end. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the Infinity Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you sub with notifications on. The more videos you comment on, the more you have a chance of winning, so make sure you get involved. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of March, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with heavy spoilers, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.